If you follow me here on YouTube or really any other social media that I am at, you know already what I think about Double Dragon Gaiden. I mean, I have been posting basically only about this game and even got my son involved to play some runs with me, so yeah. But even so, despite most of you probably knowing my opinion about the game, I think an in-depth review is in order. And before I forget, hi, I am Savino, and this is The Flying Kick. First, as always, let's take the story out of our way. Here, the affair is a bit more elaborated than bad guys do something to Marion, save her. But it's nothing too much out there. It starts with a man entering the brothers' dojo with Marion in his arms. The boys promptly inquire about him and about what's going on to quickly learn he is the newly elected mayor of a post-apocalyptic New York and has just saved Officer Marion, who was wounded in a fight with gangs. He is looking for the boys' father and learns from the newcomer Uncle Mattin that he disappeared some time ago. The boys offers to help, and Mattin and Marion, now miraculously healed, joins the brothers. There's not much else here when it comes to the story. You can learn about the gangs and their leaders by reading about them on the map, but besides that, you won't be seeing too much. There's a small choice you can make in the end that will take to ending A or B, but let's not spoil the surprise here for you guys. Yes, having two endings is a pretty cool feature, and if you beat Streets of Rage before, you know exactly what's in store for you here. You don't have more or less story here than your typical Double Dragon game, and honestly, there is nothing wrong with it. Okay, with the story out of our way, let's talk about the elephant in the dojo, the graphics. I will not pretend there isn't a lot of criticism around the web about the graphics, and they got a point. First of all, let me make clear that personally I enjoy the graphics a lot. I find the style cute, and I really enjoyed the colorful scenarios, the funny characters, the adorable Abobo. Come on, look at him and say this is a bad design. Tell me you don't want an Abobo plush. Not to mention the great animations with fluid movements that do not delay your attacks. But on the other hand, I was one of the people around the world expecting a more mature Double Dragon. Something like Super or Neon with dark and dirty streets, and I even told to the developer that my first reaction seeing the trailer was feeling a little disappointed about the graphics. But after my long time spent with the game, I came to love it very much, and honestly, while I still want a dark and mature Double Dragon, I wouldn't want any other style for Gaiden. I really like the colorful and destroyed backgrounds, the cute and dirty world, and the personality that each and every enemy oozes. All of this creates a very interesting contrast that mixes the misery of a post-apocalyptic world with the colors and feel of an amusement park. In the end, it's all a matter of taste, but I should remember that, as a general rule, you should never miss a good game because of its art style. So let's wrap this up too and find out if the game is good or not.
Time. Well done.
If there's one thing that is absolutely indisputable in this game, is that the soundtrack is awesome. There's no denying that the Double Dragon OST in general is fantastic. From the first game to Neon, you would be hard pressed to find a bad one. I mean, not every single one is great, but for the most part, they are excellent. In Gaiden, you won't be finding any original music. All tunes here are directly from past games, more precisely from Double Dragon 1 to 4 and passing through Super. While in all honesty, I was expecting to listen some original tunes. After all, Neon and 4 made an excellent job bringing new songs to the franchise. I wasn't even for a single moment disappointed with what the game has to offer. All the old songs got a new improved version with some high quality audio that are a blast to listen to. I still don't know if they will sell the OST by the time of this writing, but I'm sure thankful for the fact that you can listen to them in-game after buying them with tokens that I will explain in a moment. Take a listen to some of the tunes and tell me in the comments what you think. Still in the sound department, I have also nothing to complain about regarding the sound effects here. Punches, kicks, box breaking, everything sounds perfect, and actually I think the developer went above and beyond and delivered some of the best impact sounds I have heard in a while. The game also has voices for all characters, small sentences that they will usually say after picking up an item. While the variety of lines spoken is small, it won't be bothering you too much, but it won't pass unnoticed after you listen to
Lucky me.
or
Double lucky.
100 times. It's just a small detail that does nothing to ruin your fun, but I think it's better when these repetitive actions are accompanied by a sound effect and not by one or two lines. Now, with everything out of our way, let's talk about what really matters here: gameplay and combat. Double Dragon Gaiden is, in some aspects, a roguelike beat'em up. But this is not your roguelike where you have to farm to improve your character and repeat levels over and over again to finally be able to advance the story. Far from it. What is called roguelike here is actually an arcade mode where the number of continues you have relies entirely on how well you can play the game. In Gaiden, you have two different currencies, money and tokens. You can get money in many ways by destroying stuff, killing enemies, and completing bonus objectives like killing 5 enemies at the same time or making a 65 combo sequence, among other things like finishing every boss and sub-boss with a special KO. This money will be used to buy upgrades at the end of each one of the areas you play, but they are not mandatory. They are your typical upgrades that can raise your HP, make your SP recover faster, knock enemies when you're tagging in, etc. Money also can be used to revive your character. If you lose both characters, we will talk about the tag team mechanic in a while, you will have the chance to revive them on the spot. This revive fee gets more and more expensive every time you use it, and it won't be long until you run out of money if you keep dying constantly. If you don't spend any money, by the end of a run, this money will be exchanged for tokens that can be used in the token store to unlock new characters, songs, tips, and artwork. Tokens can vary in price according to the difficulty you are playing. The easier the setting, the more expensive the tokens get, and you will get less after a run since the money you get will be always the same no matter the difficulty. Actually, you can set a ton of things in this game, from enemy aggression to the upgrade cost. There is nothing you can put on the hardest or the easiest difficulties. This gives the players so much freedom that it won't be long until you find the perfect spot to enjoy the game and earn some good amount of tokens. Another important feature of Double Dragon Gaiden is clearly the tag team mechanic. This is a feature that I honestly would love to see in more games, not because it gives you an extra life bar when yours is low, but because it can create a lot of new combo possibilities that would not be possible otherwise. Sure, you can't swap at will, you need to have your special blue bar full, but once it's full, you can swap characters at will, creating all sorts of crazy moves you see fit, especially if you're playing with a friend. Changing characters also allows you to attack your enemies or even protect your main character taking some hits in their place. But be careful, because there's a small delay for your character to get out of the screen, and if he's caught while at it, he will be beaten like a dummy and will lose a lot of life. Your character also can recover some of their life while not selected, represented by this blue bar here. Paying attention to this is essential to minimize losses, because while your character will be resurrected when starting the next level, not having a teammate to tag and escape some attacks can be very painful. Another interesting mechanic in this game, and the most important here, is the crowd control. Here, what you really want to do is to kill the biggest number of enemies possible with your special moves. Yes, moves, plural. Your special can be used in conjunction with your directional to unleash different moves, and it's with them that we will get the biggest bonuses in this game. As I said in my preview, you won't find food in crates like in other beat'em ups. To get food to replenish your life, you will need to kill 3 or more enemies at the same time to unlock one of the 3 crowd control bonuses. These bonuses go from hot dogs, which will refill 25 points of life for 3 enemies defeated, a hamburger, which replenish 50 points of life for 4 enemies defeated,
Amazing!
and finally the almighty roasted chicken, which will grant you 100 points of life for 5 or more enemies defeated. This crowd control bonuses not only will give you food, but also a lot of money and a lot of blue little balls that can refill your SP instantly. This means that in Double Dragon, you want to wait for the enemies to gather around until you have a good number of them in your screen to dispatch them all. And you can do this in many different ways thanks to the 13 characters available. There's an incredible selection of characters here, and some of them are even pretty rare for a beat'em up. Marion, for example, can only use a gun while attacking, and while her attack is pretty weak, she has an amazing stop power and can be used to hold enemies in place, especially bosses. Not only her, you also have 3 different types of grapplers, characters that have a mid-range attack like Linda, quickly and deadly ones like and Duke, and so on. There's no shortage of characters for you to try here, and honestly, I would be hard-pressed to say which one is the best. The many ways you will find to play this game with that many characters alone will keep you playing this for hours. But this is not the only thing that will extend your time with the game. There are also the levels and how you approach them. You see, here you have 4 levels, and you can pick any one you want to start. Your first level will always be short, with only one area and the final boss at the end. After that, the other areas will expand and have now 2 areas, one sub-boss and the final boss. And finally, after beating the second boss, the remaining levels will gain a third area and a new set of sub-bosses that can vary from regular enemies but stronger, or old Double Dragon foes like Burnov or Chin. This is another feature that will extend a lot your gameplay, because exploring new areas with new enemies and dangers is extremely fun and rewarding in this game. This is something that I loved to see in Streets of Rage, the first beat'em up from Secret Base, and it's even better here in Gaiden. Unfortunately, not everything is perfect here. There are some design choices in this game that I'm not sure is the best one. Yes, I'm talking about these stamps announcing the crowd control every single time. At first it seemed okay to me, not bothering me too much, but as I played the game and got better, with more and more crowd control bonuses on each play, I must say that this gets in the way a lot. While it's very well done and you won't lose control of your character because of that, it still can be very annoying, especially in 2 players mode. I don't mind the announcer screaming
Amazing!
for at me every 30 seconds, but having to wait a second or more for the stamp to vanish is unnecessary. It could be very well under the combo counter or something like that. Another problem that I have with this game is, while I think it's a fantastic beat'em up, it does not feel like a Double Dragon game. Okay, it's time for the fanboy in me to get out and speak his mind. One of the things that, at least for me, always separated Double Dragon from the rest was the kick and punch as separated attacks. No matter which Double Dragon you are playing, the fast and weak punch and the slow and strong kick were always there to give the player choice on their attacks. Even Neon, the most out of the box of them all, kept this format, and here in Gaiden we have only one attack button. Look, I know it's probably a pet peeve of mine, but it feels odd to see Billy only capable of kicking and Jimmy only able to punch. Yes, they are young in this game and they still have not perfected their techniques, but still, for a Double Dragon game, being able only to land one kind of attack is a little disappointing. Double Dragon Gaiden is, in the end, an amazing beat'em up. The crowd control feature is very fun, the soundtrack is pure nostalgia fuel, and the combat is very, very satisfying. I'm already have 40 hours in this game and I still want to play it more, especially with someone else. There's a video here in the channel of me playing with my 30-year-old son. The fun combat, the amount of playable characters, the way you can approach each level, everything here is perfectly tailored to grant you an incredible amount of fun. If I recommend Double Dragon Gaiden, oh yes, I highly recommend this game. This is probably one of the best games this year so far, and you would be crazy to miss it. For now, Gaiden only offers local multiplayer, but an online update is coming soon after the release. And that's it for the review, guys. I hope you all enjoy it. I want to let you know that our magazine will be out a little later today, and you can check another review for this game. It's not the same review as here, an interview with the developer, and much more. Check out my site, link down below, and other than that, I hope you all have an awesome day, and remember, keep it up.